say some of the joys of Black entrepreneurship are seeing Black women win. I love to work alongside Black women and see us grow and accelerate. I just love being in the presence of amazing, inspiring Black women who are killing it, and it's only up from here. I cannot even imagine where we will be one day. I'm just proud of us. My name is Jordan Kareem, and I am the founder of Florian Noir, based in Chicago, Illinois. Florian Noir is an innovative skincare brand that targets the skin concerns of those who have chronic skin conditions like melasma, hyperpigmentation, eczema, psoriasis, and more, as well as those with melanin-rich skin and those who need to use Halal certified products. We're the only Halal certified skincare brand made and based in the US. I have a 4-year-old son who at the time he was 2 years old as we launched Florian Noir during the pandemic. And while I was trying to manage his eczema, I too often had to choose between clean or effective. And I realized that there's too many consumers like myself who want truly effective and efficacious products, but then find that the ingredients have a bunch of things that you would not feel comfortable putting on your son. Being a research chemist and pharma consultant, I decided I could cook something up in my kitchen myself. So I decided to do so. One of the biggest challenges that I faced and still face today is the fact that a lot of people are not familiar with what halal means. So as a Black Muslim-owned brand, I oftentimes have to over-explain what that exactly means. And a lot of times people see us, even though halal beauty is a $75 billion market globally, still see halal beauty as a niche or for a small group of the population. That is not the case. I believe I'm defying expectations by having to work 5 times harder than everybody else in the room. Unfortunately, it's not just good enough for me to have an idea, but I have to have proof of concept. I have to be launched at Ulta Beauty, where you can find us now. When they see me with my Black face and my scarf already as a Black Muslim, it's a surprise to see me in the room. So once I get in that room, I have to absolutely give it my all.
Whenever I was working, my business was referred to as like a small passion project, when in actuality, I have a startup. There's nothing small about my business at all. But as I continued to persevere and move forward, it gained traction and others began to buy in. My name is Ariane Turner. I am the CEO and founder of Look Good, Live Well, and I am based in Atlanta, Georgia. I spent a little over 14 years working in the film and television industry. Probably about halfway through my career, I experienced burnout, and it impacted me in the most dynamic ways. I gained weight, I lost hair, but most importantly, one of the manifestations of that was my skin became severely inflamed. It triggered both my acne and my eczema. And so I went on a journey to figure out the best ways that I could heal and hydrate my skin. I began formulating products during that time, not only for myself, but for other individuals that I was working with. And that is ultimately how Look Good, Live Well was born. I think that I have defied societal expectations by leaning into multiplicities. I've always been curious and explored various passions and have never been afraid to try and to start over. I hope to pave the way for other female Black entrepreneurs, specifically individuals that are used to working in service-based industries, by showing them there is an opportunity to transition from what you thought you knew into something that's completely different. I worked in one particular career for well over a decade. For a very long time, I didn't think that it was possible.
As Black entrepreneurs, I really hope that our presence in the business really helps other young and up and coming, even older, who want to change their life, because we are doing it.
I'm Tracy Vontel Green, co-founder of Vontel Eyewear. And I am Nancy Harris, co-founder of Vontel Eyewear.
Eyewear culture starts here. Vontel Eyewear is a special eyewear brand. We found that through our research, so many people were wearing eyewear that did not fit their faces. So we created beautiful colors and designs, but we also reconstructed the glasses so you can fit your face. I lost a pair of glasses, a very expensive pair of glasses. I went to look for another pair, and I just looked out and said, these glasses are all boring. They don't even look good, they're not colorful, they're not vibrant. And then they didn't fit well because I had indentations on my cheeks all the time. They were too small. And I called Nancy, my best friend, to complain about it. And of course, the serial entrepreneur that she is, she was like, we can do this.
I started doing some research, ended up finding an exhibition that was overseas, and decided that Tracy and I needed to see and learn about the eyewear industry.
From that expo, and you're there for Fashion Week, and you see no one that looks like you making or creating glasses, you said, oh, this is the reason why the glasses are too tight or too small. We have no representation. And if you don't have representation, you're not creating it for your needs.
I've always been an entrepreneur, and I knew at some point that I would not always work for someone. I did not care to work in corporate America. And when the pandemic hit, I knew automatically that this was the thing for me to do. If I'm putting 100%, 110%, 120% of myself into making other people's business thrive, then I could do the same for myself. I'm excited about what it is that we do, and that is what motivates and gives me momentum every single day.
This journey of Black entrepreneurship has been amazing. One, we have created for ourselves a new lifestyle. Two, we have met so many people in the entrepreneur space, and you realize you're not the only one trying to do what you're doing.
The advice that I can give to Black women going into entrepreneurship, any creative endeavor, anything that is your own, anything that you're building, is to just start. A lot of people overthink themselves into not doing anything. And I believe that just starting is the greatest leap, and you'll start figuring stuff out as you go. I don't even have the same product line that I initially had. There's so many things that I messed up in the beginning, and it takes starting to improve. My name is Amara Omakemi, and I am the founder of Femages. Femages is a plant-powered menstrual management and feminine wellness brand that I created in my kitchen. And I'm an entrepreneur hailing from Atlanta, Georgia. Growing up in a Nigerian household, it was really difficult for me to talk about what was going on with my body because I found it embarrassing, intimidating, and just uncomfortable. But Femages wants to redefine the way women speak to each other and speak about ourselves. So Femages is really people and women focused, as well as providing products that really support our bodies from the inside out. I wish to pave the way for future Black female entrepreneurs, Black entrepreneurs, by not gatekeeping, having a scarcity mindset that only one of us can succeed, only one of us can be the best. There is room at the table for all of us to sit. It doesn't have to be one person on top. And Black women specifically need support from one another. Throughout this program, I've been leaning on Black women that know more than me. It's mutually beneficial. I'm giving her advice, she's giving me advice, I'm giving her resources, she's giving me resources. I've achieved more than what I could have done alone. There's just so much advice and resources that I could give, and then eventually I want to start my own fund, similarly to Fiverr, investing in Black businesses, because it's not just enough to support, be a cheerleader. You have to kind of put your money where your mouth is, and I want to be able to fund these ideas because there's so much creativity, so much genius in Black minds.
There's so many founders that I have gained so much useful information from, really working across, like Issa Rae says, and not just up. A lot of times in programs even, or when networking, you find mentors that are absolutely incredible, but sometimes the most beneficial information you can get is from other founders working alongside you.
So many wins and joys that have come from this entrepreneurship journey. I think the greatest being community, being able to connect with other entrepreneurs at various stages of business and building and growing with them. That's been so resourceful and impactful for me as a solo entrepreneur. Also seeing the impact that my work has on my family and friends. Sometimes when we're working in a silo, you feel like you're at it alone, but I never realized how much inspiration and hope and joy I was giving to those around me just by continuing, just by keeping on.
The unique thing about being co-founders versus being a solopreneur is that we always have someone to rely on, and the support is there. You don't take everything on by yourself, and you don't have to. We both belong to the Future Collective, and there are a few people in there that are solopreneurs, and they always say they wish they had a partner. Some people look for partners after the fact, because to take on all of that work by yourself, Tracy's great with finances and inventory and management. Like those are the things that are key for her. And I'm great with design, and I'm great with curating and going out there, procurement, knowing how to source and find things and negotiating. That comes from my sales and marketing background. We pull all of those things together.
When it comes to funding, as a Black business owner, I think that it is important to have leaders and mentors who are pouring and educating younger entrepreneurs, and also just telling them about the various funding opportunities that are available for them. Like understanding when and how to seek and raise capital is very important. And I think at the root of it all, it comes down to education.
2 Black women saying we wanted to start our eyewear company and finding manufacturers that believed in us to work with us. That was very challenging because I think, one, half of them didn't understand what we wanted because we wanted patterns and vibrant colors. And then we wanted to deconstruct the glasses. We wanted them to be better fitting. So we wanted to make the bridges wider and the temples longer and the lenses bigger. And when we went to a couple companies, they were like, we can't do that. And we were like, yes, you can. We're making it for us. So I think that obstacle was really hard. And then we met a couple manufacturers that were overcharging us. And I have a finance background, so I was like, that's not how much it costs. And I was able to do our research. And we basically went through we started out with maybe like 5 or 6, and we had to whittle it down to 3. And then we found one manufacturer that would price us right and work with us and do our designs the way we wanted to do it. So it's really hard for Black businesses to not only start a business, but to sustain a business. And it's really hard because you have to have distribution. A business needs 3 things. You need opportunity, you need funding, and you need support. So if you don't have the opportunity, distribution, a department store or boutique store, someone buying your product or where you can sell your product, you won't be able to survive. The funding is great when you get a grant or 2 or 3, you got to keep applying. But without the funding, you can't pay your staff, you can't pay yourself.
Women of color don't get funding quite as frequently, or the numbers are not comparable to our counterparts, so to speak. And some of it can be, the onus can be on you because of your lack of credit or the credit score that you have, but a lot of times even you can have perfect credit, like Tracy and I have stellar credit scores, and even so it's still difficult because they don't believe that the business will survive to pay back those grants or to pay back those loans. And that is the hard part. Having the banks or having the credit unions or any of these resources believe that your business will survive.
It's not fair. And that's not even me sounding whiny, but it's not fair. They're funded more because they have generational advantages that a lot of Black people don't have. Our counterparts can call their uncle the accountant, their aunt the lawyer, their nephew the financial advisor, and we tend not to have those generational support and backing to help us. So I feel like that kind of affects the way that banks are willing to help us. A lot of us are just getting it out the mud. A lot of us are first generation entrepreneurs, so we're the first entrepreneurs in our family. The first ones doing it in a lot of our spaces, and I can see how that could be off-putting to some institutions that are investing in Black businesses, but I believe that Black businesses thrive more where people want to help us. So getting in the spaces like Fiverr, for example, organizations that specifically fund Black businesses are imperative because you want to get money and resources for people that actually believe in you and actually want to see you grow.
As a Halal certified business, I'm not allowed to accumulate interest. So I have to go the route of VC funding or grants or interest-free capital, but I am actually not allowed to take traditional small business loans or other loans that other founders would be able to take. And so though that does make funding a challenge, it does make us more creative. That also breeds innovation. And also it's really motivated me to just work even harder. And though it's a challenge, I truly believe because I have stuck on the path of keeping our business halal and not going for loans that I absolutely do want to apply for, I believe that all of the blessings that I have received thus far are because I have stuck true to myself and to my morals and my religious obligations.
I would say a challenge that many businesses face, especially Black businesses, and then I want to go as far as Black women-owned businesses, is support. Whether it be human capital, whether it be financial capital, we don't usually get the support that our counterparts do, especially white men. That is invaluable to our trajectory and our success as Black businesses, because people will say, when we're applying to grants, when we're applying to opportunities, they'll ask, what are your numbers? What is your traction? Whether it be your audience, whether it be your sales, and all of these things are boosted by support. And we get kind of stuck in a revolving door of being underfunded, undersupported, and when they're asking for our results, we don't have anything to show because it's like, I don't have the community, I don't have the resources. So I would say support, and support is not just financial, it's also having the community of individuals that you can seek for counsel, you can seek for advice that know more than you. A champion moment of my business is getting this Fiverr grant, and even getting a Black Ambition award. Those two moments made this real for me. Even kind of so real that it kind of scared me, like, oh, this is a real thing. Like, this has like people, this is a real business. It kind of came with a bit of imposter syndrome, but it's a very humbling experience because you just feel seen. These people truly believe in me. These people believe in what I'm building. There's so many no's. You'll get so many no's in applying to grants, investments, or whatever. And those yeses, even if rare, those yeses feel so good.
Being a part of these programs like the Fiverr Collective are even more meaningful because I truly do need the funding. It is one of my only ways to navigate financing.
One of the things I wish I knew before I became an entrepreneur was taxes. When you have your own business, everything you make, everything you earn, while you have expenses, but you still have to pay your quarterly taxes. So I think you forget about that because you think you're going to automatically have a loss. But if you make any money, and that's your goal, right, is to make money, you realize, oh crap, I forgot to pay my taxes. So tell every entrepreneur out there, get your accountant, get your bookkeeper. It's painful, you have to pay them, but that's the necessary part of the business that you don't really want to pay attention to because you're the creative, but making sure your books are done properly, your finances. We were looking at VCs, we were looking at getting crowdfunding and all these other things, angel investors. The first thing they ask for is your audited financials. And if you don't have audited financials, they're like, we can't invest in you. So you gotta make sure your bookkeeping is up to par. I knew it, but I took it for granted.
Especially as an underfunded entrepreneur who does need funding and doesn't have the expenses to have larger marketing agencies, PR, branding agencies, we truly do oftentimes rely on freelancers, especially in the beginning. And so I loved that the Future Collective was bringing a bunch of high growth brands who had the goal of being the brands of the future, really mentoring, accelerating their growth, but also providing them with freelancers to implement and deliver the strategies that they would learn in the program.
If I was to give any advice to Black women that are seeking entrepreneurship, I would say to manage your systems. It does not sound fun, it does not sound sexy, but we constantly have conversations about burnout and stress and living this soft girl life, and I am here to tell you, as someone who has met burnout several times, it is not something that you just escape from. It's not relieved by taking a break or a spa day. In order to better manage stress, you have to have proper systems in place. So how are you managing your day-to-day life? How are you approaching your workflow? How are you taking care of yourself? And this is coming from someone that completely operated business based on vibes alone. So having those systems and that structure in place truly transformed my day-to-day life and made me more productive and effective in all aspects.
Time management is very difficult, and as a founder, we want to do anything and everything. One of the hardest things that I deal with, but also that is extremely important, especially for wellness, as my friends and colleagues always tell me, is to delegate. Make time for yourself. It's important to prioritize your own well-being, even if that means blocking out time in your calendar to take care of yourself so you can take care of your business. And if you have children, as I do, 5 and 4, I would say it's even more important that you prioritize time for yourselves because they can drive you crazy. For example, my daughter, she's 5 years old. She loves to take part in skincare routine. She loves to talk about Florian Noir and even help, create bundles and packages for influencers and celebrities, and also my son. One of the reasons that I created the brand and the catalyst for the brand was actually my son's eczema. And so even inviting him to just be a part of what I'm doing every day is also a part of my well-being and doesn't let them stress me out. So instead, I invite him to do the same things that I'm doing every day, and he can be a part of our national eczema awareness campaign, and he can join in with me. And I think that also helps them better understand business, what mommy's doing every day, and truly appreciate the time that I do spend away from them trying to grow the business.
I've learned through entrepreneurship that it's okay to ask for help. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you incapable. My first business, I was doing everything: the marketing, the selling of the products, the shipping of the products, the making of my products. And I learned through that business that I don't want to do that anymore because I want to burn myself out. And being a jack of all trades, I feel like it kind of depletes certain areas. Like I'm not going to show up 100% of the area that I'm good at. I'm really good at TikTok. So I want to optimize my time by focusing on the marketing, focusing on gaining opportunities for my business, and delegating the things that I just simply don't want to do.
Before being the founder of Florian Noir, I was a research chemist and pharma consultant, so you can imagine that I was in closed rooms and worked independently all of the time. And so I almost became an introvert. And so having to make connections and network is an extremely extroverted experience. And one of the things that I did not know, but that I have been learning and becoming better at, is reaching out to others, asking them for advice so they can make introductions, help me build my business, and also do the same for them, because it's equally important that when people give to you, that you also give back as well.
I think that there are tons of entrepreneurs, I see them, I meet them all of the time, that start out, but a few years in, they lose steam and they stop going. I think that we've got a lot of strong starters, but we need more people at that finish line pulling us through.
I hope to see for Black business owners that we continue to grow in every industry. We don't own enough of the products and the services that we use. We are consumers, but we do not own. And it's important to have representation in every field because you just make a better product, right? We know our community, we know what we need, we know our bodies and our face structures and all those things. So when you create items for the people that's going to use it, you make better items. And I hope for more entrepreneurs to continue to jump into the space. If it's paint, if it's a plant, is it furniture, you make better clothing, whatever it is for the people that use it. So I hope there's more entrepreneurs feeling that they can jump in and they can do it and be successful at it.
What I hope to see for the future of Black business owners is longevity. It is staying the course. It is mentorship. It is looking at one another as leaders and mentors and being able to, no matter what stage and space you are within your business, being able to find somebody that you can connect with, that you can pour into, because we grow and go further when we operate as a collective.